Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Nikki Starr, and today we're going to be talking about compassion. So, compassion is a beautiful trait to embody, and it helps in all of our relationships. And there's many different ways we can define or describe it. So, I'm going to define it as compassion is when you can see that everyone is doing their best and when you can know that everyone in life is suffering in some way, like everyone is going through the human experience and people make mistakes, and sometimes they're really centered and they do great things, but then sometimes people do things that are not the greatest. And it's to have compassion in that moment. And like I said, for me, it's really like saying, I know this person is doing their best because I truly believe that even if someone does something that is not kind, in that moment, that was really the best that they could do. Um, Sometimes there are situations where people may be doing something on purpose for revenge or because they're angry and they know that it's not kind what they're doing to someone else. But even then, it's like having compassion because they're in a state of anger. They don't even know what they're doing. And so it's being able to really observe everyone's experience and everyone's choice of actions, and without trying to control or change, or and without passing judgment. I also feel that's a big aspect of compassion. So now I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened to me this week in relation to compassion, and how, because I chose compassion, I got rewarded. So I go to a chiropractor regularly and we become great friends. He's referred me to his marketing person. We're like really good friends. He's awesome. I love the work he does. And we're friendly. So I have his phone number, and I saw that his schedule was booked out for the beginning half of one evening, and I had a client session. So I couldn't go later when there was opening. So I sent him a message. I said, hey, by chance, could you take me earlier? I have to be back home by 6:50 for a client. I could even come before 6, before you start. And he writes back 6:25. So I'm like, great. I even arrive at 6:15 so I could pay before. And I arrive and the waiting room is packed. So I see him, he acknowledges me, and someone just comes out of the room. And really, to make it in time, I need to be the next person to go into the room. And I'm just like, oh no, like I have a feeling. So then they put someone else in the room. And then when the next person came out, the front desk woman went outside to get another lady who's apparently was waiting for a long time. And I said, I messaged him and he said I could come early. And he said he would squeeze me in. She's like, yeah, we can always squeeze you in. I'm like, yeah, but like I need to go now or else I have to leave. And she was just like, yeah, she didn't really know what to do. And then in that, I already paid and everything. And in that moment, I got like a flush of like red hot. Cause like for a second I felt anger and I was like, oh my God, I just drove 25 minutes for nothing, And then I said that, I'm like, so I basically drove all the way here for nothing. Cause I like need to leave right now. And she's like, I'll have him call you. In that moment I was feeling anger and I was upset. And because I said to her, I was like, you should just tell him that he just shouldn't tell me to come. He just shouldn't have said like, yeah, come at this time. He could say, no, I'm sorry, I can't squeeze you in. And then I would have totally understood. So I leave and I have a session was scheduled with him, I think for like a week later, but I had to cancel it because it was the same thing. It was like a Wednesday night. I have a lot of clients on Wednesday, so I was like, can't do it. Then this Sunday, I kept thinking, I was like, I do really need to go to the chiropractor. So I decide to do that. I decide to go to the chiropractor. And before I went, I didn't get a call or anything from him. Before I went, I said to myself, you know what? He was packed. I know he was doing his best. He really wanted to do me a favor and squeeze me in. I'm not even going to bring it up. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to like be my joyous, merry self. So I chose compassion. Instead of, I could have decided I'm going to walk in his office and be like, you know what? You really shouldn't tell people to come in when, you say to, and you can't even adjust them. I was like, I'm going to leave the New York out of it. I'm going to just go with kindness and say, and be compassionate. So I walk in, and sure enough, the moment I walk in, he sees me. He's like, your session's free. I'm apologizing. How sweet was that? Right. So there's this part of us that sometimes wants to let people know they're wrong for what they've done. And there's an opportunity with compassion to really not be attached and know that people are doing their best. Now, I'm not saying to accept any kind of abusive behavior or anything like that. But when you can really look at a situation and see, what the person was doing their best, instead of shaming them, we can just hold them in loving compassion. And the point of this video is to remind you to let go of grudges, let go of, moments where you want to be angry at people for what they've done to you. The truth is that's only poisoning you. When you choose to forgive and you choose to have compassion, you see that all of your relationships start to enhance. So I hope that this story and this video inspires you today in some way to have compassion, to let go of grudges, to choose to relate in a more powerful way with those you come in contact with, and to remember that everyone is doing their best. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe to the channel. Leave any comments you'd like to share in ways that you've been practicing compassion. Share this with a friend who needs to hear this. Sometimes friends call each other complaining about what happened and how they were wronged. And maybe this video can support them in seeing the light and choosing love and choosing compassion. Thank you so much for being here, and see you soon.